Okay, now we're going to do queries 4 and 5 in BIS 245 Lab 4 in Microsoft Access 2016. This is going to be a query with calculated fields. You can take columns that already exist in the database and then add, subtract, multiply, divide, and do other math on them to create a new column. And we're going to create 3 such columns, but it starts out with putting the order and order line tables onto your screen. So I'm going to go to Create, I'm going to go to Query Design, and I'm going to put the order and the order line table on the screen. Okay, then after that I'm going to then put the necessary columns in here, and I believe they wanted the order ID, the order date, the product ID, the unit price, the quantity, and the discount. And then what they want to do is they want to create 3 calculated columns here. So to get a calculated column, you need to bring up a formula window. So you go to a blank column, you right click, and then you go to Zoom. Up comes this screen right here, and what you need to do then is put in the formula. Because you are learning this and it can be frustrating, I suggest that what you do is go into the instructions, part F, and grab that formula right there. Take it and just paste it right in. Everything has to be spelled exactly the way column names are spelled in the database, and you know, if you were to be a computer programmer, I'd probably have you type it out, but for this purposes we'll just cut and paste. So we click on OK, and that has created an extended price column, which is achieved by taking the price and multiplying it by the quantity. Okay, the next one, we want to do another one. We want to zoom in here and create another calculated field. So if you go into the instructions, part G, go to discount amount, which takes the price that you just calculated, the extended price column, and multiply it by the discount, which is a %. And we put that into this formula window that we zoomed into and click on OK. And then we go into the instructions again, and you can see that we want to know what the discounted price is. We take the extended price that we calculated up here earlier, and we subtract the amount of the discount to get how much the customers actually paid for their order. And so we go to here, we right click, go to Zoom, and then paste that formula in as well. Okay, that will give us all of those columns that they're looking for, and save the query with the name extended order prices, and then run the query. So let's save this as extended order prices, extended order prices, click on OK. Okay, and there it is. I'm going to run the query, and that's what I get. 394 results, which is what they also got. Now the only thing we want to do now is we want to put a total on this total, extended order, this column right here, the discounted price of the entire order. We want to total it up. So to do that, what we should do is we just go up to totals, and you see how it placed a total for anything along this column, this row. I just click on this discounted price column here and go sum, and then that puts the sum in there for me, so that every time I run this query, and I'm going to shut it down, I'm going to save it, every time I run it, it will give me this total at the very bottom. Okay, so that is how you do the 4th query. And now what we need to do is we need to move on, and we need to do the 5th query, and this one uses the expression builder. This is a brand new query called order fulfillment time. Okay, and it involves using just the orders table. So we're going to build an expression. Instead of just typing it in like we did, we can actually build by pointing and clicking. What I'm going to do now is go into Access, and I'm going to create another query, and it's based only on the orders table. And the columns that they say we need to use in this is going to be, I'd like to see it down here, order ID, order date, and order ship date. Those are the 3 columns: order ID, order date, and order ship date. So we go order ID, order date, and order shipped date. Okay, we have those columns in there. Now the next instruction is to go into this blank column, the fourth column that has nothing in it, and go to the build button. That is the expression builder. So I click on that, I right click and I go build. Up comes this window here that allows you to actually create an expression. In order for it to match the instructions, though, we should probably get out of that and save this query under the name they use in the instructions. And the name that they used was order fulfillment time. That's what we should have saved it as earlier on. I jumped the gun. So we go yes, order fulfillment time. This will basically tell us how long it took from the time the customer placed the order to the time we actually shipped it, to make sure we're meeting their requirements. See how it says order fulfillment time? Okay. We're not done with this. We're going to go into design view. We want to actually calculate the number of days that it took from the time they shipped it compared to the time that the order was initially placed. So to do that, we're back into going right click and go to build. This window is where you can point and click to come up with the formula that you need. So I'm going to go into the instructions here, and it says that in the expression elements column, select order fulfillment time. So it wants us to go here, click on that, and then select order ship date as well, and then double click value. So what they want us to do is go here. This brings up the columns that are in this query, and then they wanted us to pull up the order shipped date and then click on the value. And I think that might have been unnecessary. I think that's all we need right there. Let's have a look and see what it said in the instructions. Yep, it should appear at the top. Under expression elements, select order fulfillment time, select order date as well. So I'm not really happy the way this laid out earlier on. What I would do in that case is I would go fulfillment days, colon, just don't quote me on that, fulfillment days, colon, and then order ship date, subtract order date. Fulfillment days, order ship date, subtract order date. And I don't think we need that in there either. Okay, so the instructions might tell you to do it differently. This is what makes the most sense to me, and then we click on OK. Okay, now the next thing we do is check the instructions to see whether there's anything further. They want us to sort it by fulfillment days in descending order. Save it and then run it. So we want to go to order fulfillment days and sort it in descending order, and then they want us to save it, and then they want us to run this query, order fulfillment time. And if we can see that these orders took a long time from the time they were placed to the time they were shipped, whereas the orders at the bottom, where some were shipped the same day or maybe a day later, there were 101 rows of data. And when I go down here, I see that the results has 101 rows of data as well. So that's how you do the fifth one, the fifth query. And the biggest thing is to get this formula together. If at any time you need to go back, you go to build. But make sure you get this right. Fulfillment days, colon, order ship date, subtract order date. Follow my video here to get that correct. And I'm going to take a screen text of that too, so I have it. And we're done. Okay, so submit the 5 queries. Make sure that your 5 queries use the names that were mentioned here: supplier contacts, high value products, product recalls, extended order prices, and order fulfillment time, so that when grading, so you can see exactly that those requirements were met. And that should be it. So that means you've got to clean up this area to make sure that you only have those queries that have been asked for, in case you were like me just playing around with it. And that's all we have. Thank you very much. Bye.